It's time for our last series of the day, and we've saved what should be the best till last, and it actually becomes very important. Already guaranteed in the playoffs and fighting for first place here is Clem, our blue Terran, in the bottom left. In fact, he might already be guaranteed first place. No, apparently not just yet. I think he is guaranteed first place because of Estrella winning that last series, because the only person that could overtake him would be Estrella, but he wouldn't have the map score to overtake him, and he doesn't have the head-to-head, so... Yes, I believe it is actually going to be Clem. Already first place. He didn't know that at the time this was played, obviously, so he's playing for every series, really meaning everything he possibly could. For Solar, I mean, he's in absolute trouble. I mean, 1 and 2 in the group. There's already, you know, Estrella at, what, 3 and 1, Clem's 3 and 0, and Milky Cow's 2 and 2, so a loss, and he's got no chance of going through. A win, and then he just needs to beat out Milky Cow on map score, which, might be possible. I'm not 100% sure how that situation looks right now, but I mean, for now, let's just see how the games go and see if Solo can beat Clem. First off, I mean, let's see if we can do that, because yes, 100% he can. Obviously, it is a later night kind of tournament for Solo. This started at midnight his time. He did ask me to play in this tournament, and I was like, yeah, you sure? It's going to be late, like midnight, 1 a.m. starts? He's like, yeah, no, it's cool. So maybe not as Solo out as 100%, as he definitely hasn't quite been today in general, I would say, but yeah, maybe he turns it on. Take on Clem here. See what he can do in this best of 3. Overlord just scan around the bottom. It's a Reaper opening from Clem. We've casted a lot of Solar Clem the last few days with they played in the Africa Champions Cup. I casted the replays of that. They played in World Team League. We casted that yesterday. Maybe just going to come in, fight the Lings a little bit of damage being done. Back and forth for the first few moments. He has a couple Queens coming now. Command Centers are building. Clem is going to play 3CC. He played that a lot the last couple times I've casted this series, so yeah, not really too surprised to see that breaking out again as the initial build. Fair to say, almost no surprise at all on that one, as the Reaper just going to patrol at the front. Reactor is building up from the barracks. Factory will swap on over to that reactor. And the starport will also be coming down here from Clem to, yeah, just play into the next stage of the game. Hellions, whatever you want to build off the starport option really is kind of open to you. You really do have pretty decent choice as to what you do there, as this Reaper is going to go pinging through the hatchery for a little while longer. Drones, link speed, all of that still being brought up as well. Again, the 2 Hellions will just be finishing shortly. Start heading across the map and try and, well, you know, just keep up map control, mostly, right, is the main thing. Link speed not going to finish for a while, so this Reaper's actually pretty safe to stick around, and it's really just trying to be as annoying as possible, which, when Clem's in control of it, it absolutely usually can be really, really annoying, so, yeah, definitely don't envy Solar having to deal with that for the moment. Just so frustrating to have that wandering around as the 10 drones continue to produce. Solar just cranking those workers. Clem is going to go a little aggressive. He actually didn't realize he built a couple of Widow Mines. That is a mix-up. And he's going to be looking to try and drop a couple of Widow Mines in. Clem would like to hide these, which is why I believe he's running them away right now, as you can see. So the Solar Overlord should have spotted the medevac if he was fully paying attention to it in that exact second it passed by. Picks up the mines and goes. Obviously, he doesn't necessarily know it's a mine drop. He could just be Hellions, but yeah, that's some information for Solar perhaps to pick up on. Perhaps to work with as Clem and try to do a little bit of damage early, just bring this mine drop across and find a mineral line to perhaps hit. And if you can cause a bit of chaos, maybe the Hellions get a chance to strike at a mineral line at the same time. You know, Clem is one of the very best at that multitasking. The thing is with a mine drop, it's kind of cute because Ling's being in position already doesn't necessarily mean this is deflected, right? Like it would be if it was a Hellion drop. So the mine drop could still then commit in, perhaps opening the chaos again for the Hellions to strike elsewhere at the same time. Right now, Clem doesn't commit. There was also the Spore here, so yeah, that's well positioned. That also is set up to deal with a Liberator coming in at a later point as well. I think Solar has a pretty good read on what's going on, quite frankly. I think he's dealing with this well, defending brilliantly. That's exactly what you need when you're playing against Clem. Do not let him take the early advantage. Do not let him take the early lead on damage. As the few Lings down to the south are going to begin running forward, and these Marines are going to have to hold the wall on their own accord. The Hellions, what are they going to do? Man, they're so far out of position. No! Oh, no, 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 no! Solar! Oh my goodness. He attacks the rocks by mistake. He could have killed, literally, he just did 200 damage to rocks. He could have killed 4 SCVs. Oh god, that's, well, that's kind of brutal, no? Medevac. Did the Medevac drop the mines? Yeah, apparently the mines died during this. Sorry, I guess that's why Solo was distracted, because he was probably looking at the mine drop, and he was probably dealing with that, and it's caused him to misclick and then lose the lings, so... Yeah, a mistake, but I think a mistake that was caused by multitasking, not just, oh, I'm watching my lings just fight rocks, you know? Still, obviously, a pretty horrible mistake, and so many people ask, hey, why do people kill these rocks? That's why. Obviously, you kill your own rocks so you don't misclick defensively. In this case, the rocks actually benefited Clem, but misclicks on those can happen. And as you can see, they can be pretty freaking frustrating. We saw it on the aggressor's side this time around. You should say Clem's defense was rock solid. He's just such a good Terran player, guys. He just knows how to use the terrain to his advantage, as any Terran should. Can you imagine if every Terran player used this unbuildable rocks to defend a run by in the natural? They'd lose like no workers. God. Clem continues to innovate. Medevac going to come back in with just a group of Marines. One Medevac of Marines can be dangerous here with the stim available. Things are a little slow to kind of come in and respond. But Clem doesn't wait around. The spores coming in. Uses it to kind of act as a distraction again. 2 more Widow Mines showing up. Going to get a... Well, going to hit a Morphine Overseer. He's actually going to kill it. It's actually kind of smart because it Oh! It was smart if he'd got it in time. It obviously regenerates when it finishes, so... If he just left it and it regenerated, obviously that first mine means nothing, but trying to hit it a second time actually potentially gives you the kill, right? And then it's like, at least I got something out of this, but it regenerated just in time to save itself from the second mine hit. So a very unorthodox and interaction that we don't see every day right there as well. Marines unload, they begin to heal, medevac to the top side, a couple of Widow Mines is going to be hanging out as our Hellions will morph into Hellbats at the front, and Marines and Mines will begin to push through the top, aiming towards this topside mineral line, and in we go. 1, 2, 3 Widow Mines already burrowing, and the Lings, the Bane's going to continue forward. Widow Mine shots, oh, not bad, not bad. Good splits at the end from Solar. Clem hits the drones on the last one. These mines will start to fall, so Clem falling back with the Marines. At the same time, Clem is pressing on the right-hand side and coming up here. Spore Crawler taking a few shots of damage initially, so a little bit of damage being dealt there. As Mines, Marines, everything joining up the side, getting ready to go through the top. Just going to start launching this attack into the 12 o'clock, and like I said, still just has the drop on the right, man. Look at Clem's supply, by the way. 108 to 74. That's a hell of an army, and Clem just going to push forward and try and make full use of it. Pulls back against these few Banes. Widow Mine shot wasn't really great, or for anybody, honestly, as Lings counterattack through. Clem actually has a reinforcement set to go to defend the Lings on the counter. Isn't continuing over here, so... Oh, the Planetary gonna be lifted? Oh, wow. Clem let it finish as a Planetary, and the SCVs were not there to repair, so that's a Planetary kill. 4th base down. Okay, good counterattack from Solar. Gets a little bit of life going for himself, but he still needs to deal with the major issue, which is that this army is massive from Clem. Solar needs to survive right now. If he survives right now, no 4th for Clem. Lurkaden on the way. There's a very good chance that Solar is going to be able to do very good things in this game, but that is just not going to be the case. Obviously, if you die right now, there's a fight happening over here. Widow Mine starting to take some can't talk anymore. Take some connections. Now going to fight over on this right-hand side again. Clem just staying split, fighting one at a time, trying to force Solar into inefficient fights as there's not enough Banelings here at all. The Banes are going down before they reach the Marines, and so the Marines are hammering through. They're about to have 2-2 as well, and the Banes are morphing a card fought by the army on the other side. Clem is going to cleave through everything here, knock down the entire army of Solar, and win a game number 1. And it starts to feel less and less likely that, I think it's almost sure now. Running in map number 1, and looking to hopefully do the same in map 2. It's Clem getting to play on his map pick now. Waterfall. It's got to feel pretty good for him. It's the exact kind of map you want to be playing on. It's short, it's quick to push across, it's a Terran's dream. Limited base count makes it difficult for the Zerg to outmass and outnumber you. So it's a Terran's dream all over the shop. It's in the top right. Solar Might just play roaches here. He does generally trend towards playing roaches on smaller maps like this, at least as an opening. As we get into this second game. I look like I was super nice to my parents in high school? What does that even mean? I was super nice to my parents during high school? Is that just calling me like a nice person, but only 10 years ago? Question for like... What is this statement? I can't get my head around that one. Random comment of the year. Unrebellious teenager. I look like I followed the rules when I was a kid. Oh my goodness. I look mild-mannered. Thank you, I suppose. But why specifically my parents during high school? You know what, guys? I think we're just gonna take this one. Add command. Swaggy. We need one we're gonna remember. Add command parents. There we go. First time ever chatting in the channel. Quite frankly, a legendary quote. I'll say this. I'll keep this one for the rest of my life. There you go, immortalized in WardiTV. It's been a long time since we've added the since we've added a WardiTV command on what something said in chat. Amazing. All right, guys. Back to business here. I've been following this SCV. Sorry, I've been looking at chat and I'm obviously observing. So, apologies. That was some probably lackluster observing. As we come around, Ling heading across. Overlord chilling out. And just going to see a couple of Marines on the way. Factory building from Clem as well. So getting all of this set up. A couple of Marines continue through. And that Ling speed is going to be finishing on, or coming up on this one pool in the next little while. So bringing all of this in. The third hatch coming in. Starport, reactor. Everything getting going right now. Obviously, this is not a 3CC from Clem. So this is going to be one of the rare times he plays a double gas opening. Obviously, can help him deal with if Solar gets aggressive. Can obviously put a bit more pressure on himself early with it being a shorter map, perhaps. Those are the kind of ideas that are pinging around. I mean, you can just see this is obviously a no Hellion opening as well, which might be because Solar really likes to play, again, roaches on this map. Oh, this is actually kind of the old school build, huh? I used to love this build. This is, when 2-on-1 became popular, this was almost like a build that was around the same time. I used to call it a U-Thermal build. The 14 mine, because of course U-Thermal did this more than anyone, and U-Thermal brought it back a couple times. 14 Marine, 1 mine drop. It's very similar to a 2-1-1, but obviously you don't have stim. It's done off of 1 barracks. And it does hit earlier, so you do benefit from it attacking sooner, but obviously, again, you're lacking stim. There is reasons why it can hit earlier. And, yeah, it's funny because U-Thermal used to follow this up with mech, and there's a fusion core. Nowadays, I was going to say, it's sort of this, it's the kind of build you could follow up with, like, battle cruisers. And there is a fusion core going down. So, yeah, it's fun because, obviously, it makes your opponent think bio. It makes your opponent feel like they need to kind of defend, and then it lets you kind of do as you wish back at home for a while. These SCVs have to defend themselves, though, as they get hit by a run-by just as those medevacs moved out. That was a choice by Clem. He decided to move across the map, despite seeing those Zerglings. He could have unloaded and delayed his attack. Instead, he decided to commit across. So losing 7 SCVs already is going to hurt as we begin to unload into the main base. Marines, I think this is why, though, because he feels as though with the Lings across the map, he's likely to be able to at least force Lings to be made and probably do some decent damage himself no matter what. Gets himself a Queen here, thanks to the Widow Mine speeding things along. I'm just going to see the medevacs now unload onto the low ground as we try and stay out of reach of the Queens as much as possible. We should be able to get this one, and now Hellions show up to actually protect against the Zerglings. Oh, Solar's going to lose quite a lot there. The Lings go down, a few more drones dropping, and we start to deal damage to the third. And it's going to be a long walk back over here for the Queens if they want to come and help support against this attack right now. So, yeah, this is damage being taken in a big way. Here are the Queens showing up. The Marines is going to load back into the main. hatchery is almost dead, and that's actually a big issue if the battlecruiser shows up and starts hitting the hatchery, and the queens don't have transfusions to protect it or save it. Yeah, that is another problem that could perhaps come out of this right now. So, yeah, kind of problems galore right now, actually, for Solar. This turned out very well for Clem. Imagine Solar hadn't killed the 7 SCVs, and he would have been in even more trouble. You could argue then, obviously, he'd probably have the Lings to defend a bit better at home. But yeah, the 7 SCVs being killed really went a long way to help out. As Hellions continue to gather up, a few Marines and a medevac out over to the right-hand side. And now Stim is coming up, so he's not going to play full mech behind this. He is just going to play a battlecruiser. And yeah, a little bit of BC harass. The Lings just, the Hellions just catching the Lings and just getting a bit more damage done there. Did we just lose the medevac? I think the medevac just got shot down. Yeah, so now both medevacs are dead. BC into the back of the main. No Spore Crawler. Okay, there is a Spore. It's just out of position. There's no Spore in the natural, though, so it's not like we have a lot of defense against this. And, yeah, just going to start going after a Queen, going after drones. Anti-air going down. This feels like quite the problem, as BC will now start to make its leave, at least, and back away a little bit. Bane's coming down this ramp, and we'll look for a little bit of an attack in. Things all the way to the left-hand side. Hellbat's Marines out down to the south. Spire's going to build on the side of Solar. I mean, if he feels like he needs to deal with the BCs, then even if you don't go Corrupt, you can go Mutas, right? There is another BC on the way from Clem as well. And Clem's taking the third base. Obviously, his eco feels pretty good. 54 SCVs get that mining. Solar does not have a fourth on the way, which is generally expected at this point of the game. And like I say, Clem's following up with Bio, and Bio is a terrifying follow-up, because when you follow up with Bio, what you're able to do... Yeah, you guessed it, guys. When you follow up with Bio, you're able to just absolutely, you know, smash through when you get Stim. Like, you can just come in and you can hit big, so... Definitely expecting that to become something of a factor here as our Hellions continue through to the top side. Going to go after a hatchery. The BCs are going to teleport in. Oh, this really makes it feel like it's mech almost, with the BCs and Hellions attacking. First Queen in the front taking a bunch of transfusions, finally goes down. BCs back it up a second, still waiting for any amount of bio units to show up and to start adding some fun to this, but apparently they're not part of this attack, as this fourth hatchery cannot be healed or transfused, of course, while it is still building. That's going to be a cancel. We don't quite grab the drone, so some small victory for Solar at the very least. But yeah, that's a pretty decent bit of harass from Clem. Gets a few queens, forces a lot of transfusions, keeps Solar pretty busy. Gets a cancel on the fourth base, slowing Solar down even further. And yeah, now Mutas are going to start ramping out to the left-hand side to try and intercept these BCs, which do not have a teleport home, so I believe BCs will go down. That at least is something good for Solar. And as we kill one, we're looking to kill two. Hellions going to hit the right-hand side. Got two drones. Clem very careful, pulling away very quickly. Very tempting to just run in and go for as many drones as possible there, but no, we'd rather keep the Hellions alive as Clem pushes with the main bio force. I think this is going to be very tough for for Solar to deal with, because Mutas are not exactly the best defensive unit in this stage. And obviously they're not even going to be playing defensively. They're going to be jumping in and trying to cause chaos. So then you've got to ask yourself, hey, Solar, what do you really have to defend this? No, he does have Bane speed. He doesn't have upgrades, but neither does Clem just yet, I guess. It's just the sheer amount of bio. We do see the Banes trying to come around the other side. Tank starts a fire on those. Clem has to run off, creep a little bit. The Banes continue to go down. There's so many Marines left. The Mutas flying in will be of absolutely no use at all. Marines looking to wrap this up right now as the Lings will go down. The tank helping. A few extra Mutas showing up again, but they will just do nothing at all. And Clem, obviously his real goal is to finally finish off this hatchery that he started off early in the game. It will go down. The Broodlings try and help the defense. And Clem even bringing new Marines to the fray as well. Again, all of those Mutas, don't understand where they were made. They actually did a great job shooting down the battle cruisers, but Solar is just too far behind. Too much money is being spent trying to defend up until this point, and Clem gets a 2-0, and oh my goodness, guys. Oh my goodness. Solar doesn't get out of groups.